How's it going, wrestling fans? Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Wrestle Report, episode 23, our second episode live with Phil and Don. I am Phil.
And I'm Don.
And we are live. You see Don has taken time out of his rave to be here with his lights flashing back there. But we had so much fun doing it live last time that we just figured, let's just keep this going. Unless something goes wrong, no reason not to do it. We'll have the chat open at all times. If you want to throw some opinions in there, go ahead and do that. We'll be sure to highlight them all. But there's a lot to talk about with a lot of different companies, which is kind of my favorite episodes when we kind of, that logo wasn't made just to, name every wrestling company. We like to talk about them all when there's stuff to talk about. But I don't think there's anything more important to talk about right now. We talked last week about watching Fastlane on the Peacock app, and that was our first experience with it and all. And once I got it all figured out, I didn't think anything of it. It was just a wrestling show. I watched it and I turned it off. I didn't notice because I didn't have to do this. You can't pause and you can't rewind and then, in turn fast forward any live event, any live wrestling, or really they do like soccer and stuff on there too, which I haven't tried. But basically you can't pause, you can't rewind. And I thought that was something they definitely need to work on. And then it comes to find out that now NBC is kind of scrolling through because they still haven't moved all the content over from the network to Peacock, and they're kind of I don't know what the censoring, I guess would be the right word, all this content and stuff. And it really did have the wrestling community up in arms. I don't know, this seems like a clause in a contract that nobody read, because if you're the reason you get the network outside of the live shows that you watch, it's for that content that you used to watch all the time. And if it's going to be they've done a little bit of editing, obviously, if they don't have rights to theme music and stuff, they had to change that up on old ECW shows or something, for example. But if they're starting to cut out anything that NBC sees offensive, you might as well just scroll through the whole 90s and hit delete. I don't know what they expect to have on there if NBC is really going to, go through every little show and decide what they think is acceptable on their platform.
Yeah, man. I heard about that and I was like, yo, what the hell's going on? It's already becoming bad. There's the good and the bad with it. Yes, there's good. It's good because, that means I can watch The Office, I can watch Law and Order, I can watch all my shows. And I saw that they got 2.5 Men on there, and that's my show right there.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm cool with that. But then when he's censoring the WWE network, that just kills me, because like you said, that's the main reason why you get the network, other than the pay-per-views. You get the whole the Attitude Era and all the good documentaries and all that good stuff on there.
Yeah.
So that sucks, man.
We've talked about it multiple times on here. Obviously the pay-per-views are cool. It's good that you can get them. You don't have to order them individually and everything, but that's once, maybe twice a month. And sometimes when they're, adding a takeover, that's 3 times a month. But the rest of the time you're using it as your wrestling Netflix, right? You want to just randomly watch an old show. And then we've mentioned how great the content is outside of like the documentaries and stuff, and that's why you watch it. And I think the new stuff that they're making is going to be fine, because it's going to be made with modern PC stuff in mind. So I recently watched the Randy Orton Stone Cold Sessions episode, and it was great. And stuff like that you're not gonna have to worry about. But if you're trying to go back and watch like I mentioned already, an old ECW show, or if you listen to Jim Cornette like I do, he'll talk about a Smoky Mountain show, and they have some Smoky Mountain stuff on the network. You can go there, and just old Mid-South and old WCW stuff, and and obviously the Attitude Era, they might as well just scrub Stone Cold from it. Are they going to blur his middle fingers every time he flips the bird at somebody? At that point, it's not even going to be worth watching on there.
Yeah, because that's what you do. That's what you do when you see him come out.
It's funny, when the network first came out, and really what by moving to Peacock, I understand they're getting the money, so now it doesn't even matter if they don't have fans, because they're getting the TV contract money. So I understand it from a business standpoint. But from a consumer standpoint, they're fixing something that's not broken, because the network, while it might have had its issues when it first launched, was perfect. You had everything in one spot. It was relatively easily organized, right? And there was, some interface things that I would maybe tweak if it was up to me. But overall, you can find whatever you want by going to the search bar, so it's fine. And the only negative of it at the time was it kind of killed the DVD business, because anyone that's a wrestling fan, maybe you don't collect figures, or you don't collect belts, or you don't collect books or whatever, but anybody that calls themselves a wrestling fan is going to have at minimum a handful of DVDs. Yeah. And it got to the point that there was no point in buying those anymore because, like, if you want to watch, Royal Rumble 2000, which is my favorite pay-per-view ever, I already owned it, but if I didn't, I could just pull it up on the network. And in the past couple of years, I've kind of moved into, like, if I was at the show, I'll buy the DVD just because it's a nice little collection I can have for myself. But otherwise, it's not really worth. And I have a huge backlog from, like around the time I first started watching and prior. But I don't know if this is going to happen. I think the DVD sales of stuff might peak a little bit more because you're going to see stuff in its entirety. And of course, like, even VHSs back in the day, like, you wanted to see the show as it was produced. So I would not be surprised if, like, tape trading becomes a thing, if this really gets to the extreme where they're just NBCing every past show before it hits their platform.
I just think it's a bad idea altogether.
Yeah.
I like you said, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
The network was great. To be honest with you, though, because I heard there was speculation that ESPN was going to buy it. ESPN.
I did hear that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm actually okay with Peacock doing it, though, just because you get other content with your package.
Yeah. I mean, if it became part of, like, ESPN Plus or something, I'd be cool with that because I already have that. But and I've only a little bit have I explored the Peacock app. I've watched a couple movies on there that weren't elsewhere, but I'm still figuring out. And I understand it is in its infancy. The network wasn't perfect, the month that it launched. Yeah. So maybe they'll straighten it out as far. One thing that has to happen, regardless of how you feel about the content, you got to be able to pause a live wrestling show. Like, sometimes you're going to need that. I didn't need it at Fastlane, but you're going to need it at some point, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. And like, it's crazy because I remember buying the network back in when it first launched. Yeah. I was one of the guys that, they got a streaming platform. Let me get it. It, yo. And then this is before they started doing the whole 1 month free for new subscribers. I paid that $10 right off the bat.
Yeah.
So like that really did hurt me that we lost the network. RIP to the network. Was it like 2000 like 14, 15?
Yeah, because the first live show they did on it was the NXT takeover or NXT arrival, like the pre-takeover thing. Yeah. And I was actually at that show, so I didn't know that it crashed in the middle of it. I remember coming home and hearing about all that. Like, Tyler Breeze was on the screen and the thing went down, so there was jokes like, "Oh, Tyler Breeze killed the network" and all this stuff. And, so yeah, and then like you said, it wasn't perfect from the get-go. And like, if this really gets to the point, clearly NBC doesn't care about the back catalog; they care about the new content. The new stuff, yeah. So like, Peacock is only $5, but instead of making the network go away, put it at like $5, so you're back to the $10 you're used to spending, and just make that your back catalog. Not the new stuff, but like
all the old stuff, like
just your historian stuff can stay there. I don't know how that would work, but like, it does make me think twice now. Like, there's a handful of shows that I will just, if I find the DVD, I'll need to buy it instead in case it gets lost to history, because like they own all this stuff, and I feel like they finally got it the way they wanted. It's like if you were trying to, like, organize your own personal DVD collection, you finally got it like in an order that made sense to you and everything, and then like, oh, I'm moving, I got to go put it over there, and one or two of them break or you lose one in the move, and that's what it feels like too.
Oh yeah, bro. And I always thought like, because it was already hard to like end your subscription for the network.
Yeah, they did not make it easy.
So is it now? Does it just, that's it? Because I don't want to get charged another $10.
It did say that it's just it will not be renewed. Basically, is the way it's happening, because it's gonna. I deleted it off my Roku because like, I guess I don't need this anymore. It was like probably one of the first things I put on it when I bought the thing. Yeah. And now I guess I'm just deleting it so I don't accidentally click onto it anymore.
True.
I thought it was weird because I was under the impression, we talked about it last week, that you could watch Fastlane and WrestleMania on either one, but it's Peacock or bust now, which that's a terrible time to. You don't want to confuse anybody when it comes down to like, how do you watch WrestleMania? I think you want to like, it's jumped to Peacock 3 weeks before WrestleMania. That seems like you're just confusing your audience.
Oh yeah, bro, for sure.
But I mean, we have the thing; it'll be fine to watch WrestleMania. Again, by then they need to get the pause, rewind stuff figured out. Yeah. I haven't tried to go back and watch it. I don't know how long the gap is between. That's the other thing they used to do is, with the network, like a pay-per-view ends and it would just
It's
restart
yeah.
in case you missed the beginning. I don't know if they're doing that right now because, I mean, Fastlane was fine, but it wasn't worth trying to rewatch immediately, so I didn't even look.
You know what's crazy too? Actually, they actually do have a watch along.
I did see that. I actually clicked on that.
Yeah, I clicked on that on
first
accident. Yep, I clicked on that before I went on when I actually went to Fastlane. Like,
they actually made that. That was like front and center. I had to dig for the actual show.
Yep.
I don't know why they made it a lot easier to find their watch along than they did find the actual pay-per-view that you're trying to watch. So, yeah, that was weird to me. But I mean, which is fine if they want to do the watch alongs on there and everything. But I hope this gets sorted out. And look, I know we live in a different world. If you want to take out, was it Raven crucifying Stevie Richards on that? He's like, there's certain things fine. If you want to take out Roddy Piper doing blackface, like fine, but don't like just because it's just do the MTV, not MTV, but whatever the mature audiences,
TVMA,
yeah, just put that out there, and like that's all that was invented for that reason. If you throw that on there before the show starts, you are not liable. That is up to them at that point. So if you go to a movie and it's got the big R on it, if they saw something they didn't think they wanted to see, we tried to tell you.
And it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. Come on.
And now. I do understand the concept of like you don't want little Johnny watching, The Office at age 12 and he accidentally stumbles onto an ECW match. I get how like when it's all on one app that could happen, but like there's parental controls and stuff, and like I don't know. I hope they. There
is. I'm pretty sure there's a way that you could like set a parental control because I had that on my TV. Mm-hmm. That like it would not play any like rated R movies or TVMA shows or anything. You'll get blocked off of it. I haven't tried it, but I was
gonna say, where'd you get your TV? You meant like it was set that way. I'm like,
yeah, because I have a streaming. I have my AT&T now. So like it's basically streaming cable. Like
gotcha.
So, but yeah, I'm able to do all that if I had a kid or anything watching TV. I could block it off if I wanted to.
Which is good, and I totally understand that needing to be something that like you need that option, but the standard version should just be, everything is available like it is. So I don't know, maybe it's been overreacted. I will say one thing: they're not in a hurry to get all this stuff on there because if you go on Peacock right now, all the stuff is like very, very current. Like there's nothing.
Yeah,
you can't go back and find old stuff right now if you try. But like the oldest thing is going to be like early 2000s maybe. Like it's not. You can't go back into the 80s and 90s and stuff right now on there. They have like the best of Stone Cold and stuff, but they don't have like full shows or anything right now. So like if you are someone that throughout the month between pay-per-views are always casually watching old shows, you're not having a great time right now. Because like one thing I'm doing right now, and this will be actually before I talk on that, you got any more? I got a good segue into the next thing, but and you got anything else more on this?
No, actually, kind of. I want to see what they're going to do by WrestleMania time. I want to see if they're going to if anything's going to be upgraded by that time.
Because the network used to be a one-stop shop for anything WWE related. Peacock sounds like it's just going to be like when you watch the pay-per-views, it's going to be here. It doesn't sound like it's going to be that wrestling paradise that the network really ended up being for a lot of people for near a decade, I think, at this point, 8-9 years at least. But one thing I've been doing, I don't know if you have Pluto TV or if you're familiar with Pluto TV. It's like a free, streaming, kind of like you were saying. And they just have an Impact Wrestling channel, and they're just always randomly showing. Who knows what the show could be? Anytime from 2002 when they started to the pay-per-view they last did. And if I can't think of what to watch, if I'm like doing stuff around the house, I just throw that on the TV just to have like background noise. And I've been watching so much old Impact Wrestling / TNA. I had one on the other day. I was like, oh, wait, I was at this show. And then I see myself in the crowd. So I have been watching a lot of old Impact stuff just due to, it being available that way. And it's almost cool. Like, I'm going to throw this channel on. I don't even know what's going to be on. And, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But it is cool that they have that aspect out there. But to continue some Impact talk here, they were in the news the other day. We're still waiting on the official word of NXT moving to Tuesdays, but Impact is not going to wait around for that news to happen because the news came out the other day that they are moving to Thursday nights, which really it's moving back to Thursday nights. In their heyday with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, all those guys, they were on Thursday nights. And when I think of Impact, I still do think of Thursday nights. And personally, Tuesdays was crowded anyway because the NWA is back. We'll talk about them more. AW Dark is on there. They kind of got lost in the shuffle on Tuesday anyway. So if NXT goes there, there goes the rest of it. So Thursday is a wide open day. There's to my knowledge, no other wrestling on there. I think MLW is even on Tuesday now. I'm thinking about it.
NXT UK is on
Thursday.
On Thursdays.
Okay, but that's a much easier thing to compete with. So them moving to Thursday, I think is a great move. It's I think I wrote it down one day. April 8th is when they're moving, so like 2 more weeks. And that'll make me watch it more because we have wrestling. I'll admit I don't watch a lot of NXT UK, but like there are Thursdays that I'll be home. It's almost a weekend. I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish wrestling was on, and now like it'll scratch that itch for me on a Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. One thing we talked with them earlier, like 2 episodes ago, maybe. They were finally unifying the Impact World title and the TNA title held by Moose. Rich Swann ended up winning that. I know we covered before the match. I don't know if we ended up talking about the winner yet, but it's crazy how they've really made Rich Swann like their guy. He's like a man in that company.
This is like his second reign, right?
He's just had it that long. He's been champ the whole time since he won it the first time. And he's getting April 25th, which is about a month from now. It's title versus title, him and Kenny Omega at the TNA's at Impact's pay-per-view, Rebellion, I believe it's called. And like, I think it's safe to assume Kenny's going to win that, but that's a lot of eyes. They're going to move to Thursday where they're really the only competition. And then you got, this pay-per-view where Kenny Omega is going to be on it, this big title, not unification, but like, winner takes all match. And like, I can't imagine Rich Swann winning it, but I do think it's going to be an interesting story with Kenny having the, he's got the AAA Mega Championship, which is their top belt, AEW title, and then presumably the Impact title, which could potentially lead to, he name dropped Ibushi from New Japan on Dynamite the other day. So maybe that is eventually what they're going to work towards. But I think Impact is in a really good position to get some eyes on, newer eyes on them or eyes that haven't been on them in a long time.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. Now the thing that might kill it is that everyone's going to just be upset because how are you going to just let an AEW guy just come and take the title? Mm-hmm. Yes, Kenny's a big draw, and yes, he'll get you some eyes on your show. But it's still that's still not good for your company. I feel like it's still not good for the company at the end of the day. But yes, it'll be nice. It'll be nice just to see him go against some of the guys over there as well. Yeah. I'm actually excited for that match because I love Rich Swann. I loved Rich Swann when he was with WWE.
Rich Swann's really made a believer out of me. Like I think I've said it on the show. Like when he first won the title, I'm like, he's good, and him winning the title, like coming back from injury, was a good story. But he did not seem like the guy that needed to be like the man. But he's done a great job, and he's a much better promo than I ever remember him being. He probably wasn't even given the chance to be a promo in WWE.
Yeah, he wasn't really talking much.
Yeah, so the stuff that he's gotten to lay down in Impact, I'm like, okay, like he's made a believer out of me for sure. So that match, like I said, it's in about a month, and like you said, there's going to be people that aren't happy about it. So the match is one thing, but it's what you do with it after the fact that's really gonna decide if people are gonna stick around.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. And I just thought about it. They're making that move on the same time during Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, they did move it to Sunday for that reason, because it was gonna be on Saturday. Impact pay-per-views have been on.
No. I'm saying the show. They're when they moved to Thursdays. Thursday is NXT.
Yeah. So that first episode might not do great, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see. And we will get to some NXT. We're not reviewing or previewing WrestleMania or NXT. I think we're going to do that next week because it'll be closer and the shows will be more solidified. There's still more questions and answers on some of those shows. But, that NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver looks amazing. And I look forward to previewing that and then reviewing that after the fact. We have not decided yet if we're going to do like night 1, night 2. I think TakeOver we might have to review as one, and WrestleMania we might get away with night 1, night 2, but we haven't figured that out. But it'll all get reviewed at some point, so don't you worry. Talking about title unifications, I think last week or the week before I was talking about New Japan combining the IWGP Heavyweight title and IC title into the new World Heavyweight title they have over there. The news broke the other day that the new physical belt for the IWGP World Heavyweight title is going to be revealed on March 30th. During a road to the Sakurai Genesis, I think is the name of the show. It's, kind of like AEW does Road to the whatever. and we're gonna see what the new belt looks like. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm nervous because, as I've said, the IWGP title that they have now is like most wrestling fans will admit is like the best looking belt in wrestling. So I hope they don't stray too far from that design, but we will have it here for you once it comes out for sure. So that's just the one piece of New Japan news I did want to throw out there. And as we mentioned, Ibushi has been mentioned by Kenny Omega, so that might be, if they push this another year, maybe travel bans aren't as bad. And even if it's Kenny going to Japan to, try to get Ibushi's belt, I think that's the money. I think that's where all this is leading. I think that's the point of all of this at the end of the day.
This man can't out of every title except the WWE title. Actually, JR.
Yeah, if you ask JR,
he got it. He already.
Exactly. One other note, actually, jumping back to Impact, something pretty cool is happening on Impact this coming week. James Storm, who returned there about a month or so ago, will be having his 1,000th match on Impact Wrestling's TV. 1,000 matches, and I don't know if he's the first one to do it, but he's the first person that they've ever advertised it that way. So it makes me think that it is. James Storm is a hell of a talent. If you put all the best tag teams that Impact's ever had, he's been in 2 of them, because America's Most Wanted was like the top tag team when they first started. Right? And then, of course, Be Your Money down the line with Bobby Roode. So that former TNA world champion, I loved watching him in the NWA, but when he came back to Impact, it just felt right. It's his home. So if he's it would make sense to me if he's the first guy with 1,000 matches, because he's been there for 85% of their history.
Yeah.
Other than a cup of coffee in NXT and, about let's call it a year in NWA when you factor in all the seasons they did or whatever. But yeah, James Storm is great. I'm actually looking forward to him in the Retromania video game. He's going to be DLC pretty soon. We haven't reviewed that yet because it's out on Steam, but I ordered it for Switch and I'm still waiting for it because it should be out in a couple weeks, but I do plan to review that game at some point. But James Storm's going to be in it eventually, which is great. It'll be his debut in a video game that's other than like the Impact game from years ago. And he's facing Eric Young for the 95th time out of those 1,000. Because you got to think, they had battles when they were in Team Canada and then, as when they were main eventers and stuff. So it'll be James Storm's 1,000th Impact match against Eric Young, and that's for the 95th time. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how often any company has been like, hey, this is this guy's 1,000th match, or just we looked at it that way. To me, that's very old school, and like I kind of dig old school things like that in wrestling. So that'll be cool. Definitely want to check out Impact, if not just for that. I think it should be this coming week, so next Tuesday. So yeah, pretty cool for James Storm getting that honor, and I don't know how long he has left in the tank or whatever, but he'll be definitely a Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer whenever that happens.
100%.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna let's jump over to I'm gonna do my NWA minute now. I think that's a good time to throw this in there for some people. So POWERRR is back, which is great. We saw it on Tuesday. First episode back after the pay-per-view, which we talked about. I kind of mentioned how they still don't have a true crowd, but they have maybe, I'm gonna call it 15 to 20 people hanging out, and it's like it's in such a small soundstage that it sounds okay. And Nick Aldis, the world champion, he has his group called Strictly Business. Think of kind of like Evolution, but everybody's roughly the same age. So it's not really the past, present, future thing. It's just like we're all in suits and aren't we cool kind of group. And it was him, Tom Lattimore, and this guy named Royce Isaac. And he is in AEW now. He's in the he's on Dark. He's not fully signed, but he's not in the NWA anymore. So they came out and they're supposed to have a 6-man tag match. So the big thing was, who's going to be the new Strictly Business member, and they have the tracksuit jackets, like it's really cheesy, like, and he's got the third jacket, and he's like, oh, what do we we need to get somebody in there. Ended up being Chris Adonis, the former Chris Masters. So he's not officially in the group yet, but he did win the match for them. It's almost like the prove yourself and you can be in the group kind of thing. Very interesting, and I'm looking forward. And I think he fits in the group very much. Have not seen Chris Masters other than the pay-per-view in years, and he looked great, and I think he fits the product very well. The other big note I'd like to put in there is there was a triple threat match for the TV title with 3 new competitors coming in there. The winner ended up being Fred Rosser, who you might know as Darren Young from WWE and Nexus. So he's there now, looking great, really impressed in the triple threat match. He'll be facing Elijah Burke for the TV title sometime down the line now, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. So a lot of stuff happened on the first night of Power. Be back on on Tuesday night. It's $5 a month for all their content on Fight TV. You can watch past episodes. You get all the past pay-per-views for free. When they start making, their other series again, you'll get all that too. So to me, it was worth the $4.99 or whatever for the first month to see what they're up to. And I know I think I sent you the link. Did you ever get a chance to check out some of their pay-per-view?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Been a busy man.
Yeah, that's true. John's got a new job, which is pretty sweet too. But I did want to just throw that in. That's the NWA Minute. A lot of good stuff going on over there. Definitely check it out. It's a whole nother flavor of wrestling. It's something you're not going to get elsewhere. It's definitely that old school feeling. What was the other thing? They added Tim Storm, former world champion, to the commentator's desk, and they also added was it Velvet Sky from Impact? During the female matches, she'll come out and do that. Which of course,
I did see that.
Her and Bully Ray are, I don't know if they're married or engaged, but they've been together for a while. So maybe Bully Ray shows up on NWA. It's possible now with his significant other being there. So that could be something.
Sorry.
Bless you. All right. So that being said, let's jump over to NXT. Some of the big news coming out of there. We had some positive stuff here today. This isn't as positive, but NXT tag titles have to be vacated due to, I forget which. I'll let you jump into this on which member of the team. Was it Burke that got injured?
Yeah, it was Danny Burke. Yeah.
Okay, so
unfortunately, he separated his shoulder from Karrion Kross last week.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to vacate the titles, which I don't understand. I'm not a fan of it, just because they could have freebird the titles, because they still got Pete Dunne on the team. That's
true. They probably, unless they have plans for Pete Dunne.
Yeah, that's elsewhere. And then later on in the night, you figure out, okay, he's gonna be in the battle royal, for Johnny Gargano's title, a shot at Johnny Gargano at night 2 of the Stand and Deliver. But right. It was a great. They had a great match between Oney Lorcan and Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross took a lot. It was a lot of beat. Them boys was throwing haymakers against each other. I don't know if you saw the picture of Karrion Kross after. His whole chest was welted. I did see that. I was like, damn, yo, Oni is a striker, and I always liked Oni Lorcan. Then we also found out that there's going to be a ladder match between Legado Fantasma and James Devlin. Okay. Yep. They're going to unify the cruiserweight titles. I thought that was pretty cool. And the person that came out to make this announcement, he didn't make an announcement, was HBK. HBK came out and he just went underneath the ring, pulled out a ladder, and pulled it in perfectly in between them. It looked pretty totally honest. I totally forgot that the cruiserweight title was not there was 2 of them. I totally forgot about it. I thought when Phantasmo won the title that it was just him vacating it, and I totally forgot that he's been over in the UK. So literally when I saw him pop up, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing. So that's definitely going to be a good match at TakeOver. And the other thing to tie in with that tag team titles being vacated, MSK will face Grizzled Young Veterans and the other 2 guys that Phantasmo's heavies for the tag title. To me, this has got to be an MSK moment, because they never even got their title for winning the Dusty Classic. I have a feeling that they're going to end up winning the whole thing. I'm hoping it's going to be a triple threat actual tag team match, how we always like. That would be dope. And then what else happened? Raquel Gonzalez looking like a monster. They opened the show with it was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai and Zoe Starks. Bro, them girls was laying into each other, and I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw the end of this match, but Raquel Gonzalez had Zoe Starks up in the air doing her little choke slam thing. Io Shirai came back up on the ring on her apron as she has Zoe Starks in her hands in the air. She goes over, carries her, kicks Io Shirai down with a big boot, and then drops her.
Yep, I did see this.
I was like, yo, that is strength, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That was strength. I was impressed. And then we finally found out. I don't know if you saw that too. The end of they had security footage of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah,
getting into a brawl at a training session. I thought that was dope.
I gotta jump in here because I sent you the tweet of it. Adam Cole put something out like, you might hate me or you might love me, but you know I'm one of the best. And Pat McAfee chimes in, just goes, "I hate you."
Yo, it's great, bro.
I'm
great.
I'm not convinced. I don't know why. I think NXT, I think Pat's done over there for whatever reason. I don't know what caused it. I don't know that we're going to see him there again. But the feud with Adam Cole will live on forever. And it was just, you go love me or hate me. He's like, well, I hate you. it was perfect. I was going to say that takeover, this is going to be one of the most anticipated ones, obviously, with two nights and everything. And the thing that jumped out of nowhere, I'm sure it's not nowhere, but for me, who doesn't watch NXT every week, Walter defending the UK title against Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh my God.
I'll take 20. That match is going to be insane. And
it's
real quick,
is
it just me, or is Ciampa aged like 12 years since like the pandemic? Like, his beard is more than it's ever been. It's grayer. He just looks like he's seen some things and some stuff, and it's just really added to it and all. Before we jump to AEW, which will be the last little bit of stuff, I want to jump back to WWE's. We talked about the situation with the Peacock and everything. I've mentioned on here, like, I can't imagine that after hosting 40,000-ish people on back-to-back nights of WrestleMania, that they're going to go back to the Thunderdome. It appears that's exactly what they're going to do, except it's going to be at the Yuengling Center at University of South Florida, which, by the way, is in Tampa, which is not South Florida. Horns down, go Knights. But it's a fine venue. It really is. But I couldn't believe that when I heard that. How do you go from 40,000 people in 2 nights, back-to-back nights, and right back to the Thunderdome? Like, why don't you open up that Yuengling Center and have 1,000 people spread out every week? I don't know I think they'd rather do the Thunderdome than it would make anything look, not sold out, I guess. I think they're afraid of that at this point. But I was very surprised to hear that, and I don't know that I agree with it. I think there's other ways. They need to at least do, I've said it myself, when you don't have the luxury of what AEW has with the big open air arena where you can spread people out, NXT is doing it the best because the 75 people that they have in there with the screens where you at least get actual people cheering is the best view of that right now. So they need to at least try and do something like that, I think. Yeah,
and with the element before, I know we talked about this before in the past episode about the whole banging on the actual on the glass, the plexiglass and stuff. On NXT, it sounds actually pretty dope on NXT because you can see the fence and stuff. You hear more fence.
It's chain link now, so it's better to me.
Yeah,
it's not as distracting, but it fills the airwaves.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it helps out with the sound, and it just sounds everything just sounds more crisp. Now I do like what AEW is doing because I do like the fact that they're allowing fans to actually come in there. I like the fact that they have the wrestlers around too. I like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised WWE has not found an open air venue to do. Pick a baseball stadium. Go to Texas. They're wide open in Texas now. Just go do what you got to do. I don't know why you can't find an open air. Use the Citrus Bowl. I don't know. You have this great standing relationship. You could even do it at Raymond James for the next little while in a more closed, intimate, block off the left and right and just have people in one section, 1,000 people or something, like AEW's been doing, and just have them all on the camera side so it looks like people. There's a million ways they could do it. I'm just surprised they're going about it the way that they are. So hopefully we'll get more information on that. But I was pretty stunned when I read that they're going to go from 40,000 people to 40,000 people to 0 again. I think once they see the people back, they're going to no, we can't lose this. They're going to have some form of the Thunderdome, but they're going to have to let some people in at some point.
At least, yeah.
So before we get out of here, we already recapped NXT. I'm going to do a little bit of that with AEW. We haven't gotten to fully talk about MJF's new group since it's got its name, officially The Pinnacle. I'll let you start. What do you think of the name? I don't. It's not the route I would have went, but I get it, and I'm pretty okay with it. What do you think? Not a fan.
And we'll see how it goes. It might grow on me, but like right now.
Yeah. And really, it's not that, I don't know if this matters, but it doesn't seem that it's the Pinnacle. It's Pinnacle.
Pinnacle. Yeah,
which I think is a little better for whatever reason. It's like Facebook. You drop the it's cleaner, for whatever reason. But they definitely look like a force to be reckoned with. They had their first in ring match or whatever, which of course they won, and this will eventually lead to some sort of. They mentioned something about like next week we're going to show everyone how we're going to get gold or something. I don't know what that. It seemed like a throwaway line, but I'm sure it's going to go somewhere. So I'm definitely interested in where it goes. The name, you said, the name might grow on me, but the group itself, I think, is going to do great things.
Oh yeah.
In AEW. So last week I talked about I thought Scorpio Sky should win the TNT Championship because it just seemed like a good time with Darby Allin being hurt and everything. This week he defended it against John Silver, and apparently I didn't know this about myself, but I guess I'm just ready for Darby Allin to drop the title because I was on the edge of my seat on this thinking John Silver. Actually, I even tweeted like, if John Silver wins the title tonight, I'm drinking all the alcohol in my house because it was a fantastic match, and he had so many pinning combinations after like big impact moves that he could have beat him like 4 different times that would have made sense. And then like there was one he goes for a pin after like a big impact move, but he hooks the leg so hard that the leg is actually in the ropes. So it's like he almost overpinned him, and which is really cool. I assume this was planned and everything. So it was a really cool way to end that. A great match though. Darby Allin does get the win. Sting came out to like neutralize the Dark Order, so the match could just happen the way it is. Great showing by John Silver. Bad news, did separate his shoulder. Separated shoulders are going around this week, I guess. Going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. But the best thing about him, one, he's a comedy act too at the same time, and he's with the Dark Order. I don't think he's going to miss really like TV time. I think he's just going to be there in his sling, and he can just do his thing. So it won't be. It's not really going to kill his momentum because he can just hang out on the apron and when the BTE and stuff. I don't think it's really going to harm him. But this is for anyone that thought Dark Order was just a comedy act, and they are. Like I get that, but like to see what John Silver can do in the ring, I think he earned a lot of people's respect, and I'm looking forward to all that stuff moving forward. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We'll probably be back sometime next week. We'll probably be closer to being able to review NXT Takeover and WrestleMania, which is that as in a way we're previewing 4 shows, so we might have to pick up the pace on that one.
Yeah.
But it is going to be great. It's going to be a great week of wrestling when that rolls around. Wrestling literally every single day. So we're glad that you're along for the ride with us on this. Quick little just channel update, since we are going to do these live. If you're someone who listens to it on the podcast version, the way YouTube works, it sometimes takes several hours for me to download the video and convert it to audio. So if you're someone that likes to hear these right when they come out, join us on the live chats here, or watch on the replay on YouTube. But it is going to now, they usually came out around the same time, but now YouTube is going to be, you're going to get it a full day earlier at this rate. So if you're someone that likes to listen right away, definitely join us on YouTube. If not, it'll be, the podcast version will be out as soon as I can possibly do it, really. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys for listening to the Wrestle Report, episode 23, and we'll see you next time.